What's up, everyone? Happy Monday. This is the first Monday in May of 2020. I thought we could do something interesting, which is break down the connotation, the differences really between active versus passive social media, especially when it comes to being here in COVID, where so many people are at home, are on social media. I think the lines between the social aspect and the passive aspect and the active aspect are becoming blurred. So I really wanted to do a live to break down my thoughts on passive, active, how you can actually do bit more passive, have more active, and do less passive while spending, frankly, less time on social media. I think social media is a great tool, but that's it. It's a tool. It's meant to do something. So I thought, you know what? Let's just do this live because I don't want people spending their precious time that they will never get back doing social media when it's not getting them to something. So that's what we're talking about today. If you have any questions or anything, make sure to throw them in the chat. That's why I do these lives, are for the 1, 2, 4, 10 of you that can benefit from what I'm talking about. Because trust me, these are lessons and experiences that frankly I've invested a lot of time into. And if I can, in a sense, save you some time, I want to do that. So let's get started. The biggest difference between active versus passive social media use is in the fact boils down to one real thing, which is what are you doing? Like, what's the intent when you go on LinkedIn, when you go on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Medium? What is your intention? And all the time, there might not be a very clearly defined objective, which makes it hard to stay very actively engaged. Because here's the thing: if I go to the gym, I know I'm going to the gym to achieve something, whether it's an arbitrary weight loss goal or to build muscle, to feel better, whatever that is. When I go to the gym, right, I usually go there because I have a objective, because it's very easy not to go to the gym. So if I do end up going, I'm there for a reason. Now, social media should be the same thing. When you go on these platforms, so like LinkedIn, for example, or YouTube, where we're streaming to, there's a number of things that you can do, right? There's people you can engage with. There's leads you can look for. There's businesses that might be perfect fits. There's clients. There's vendors. There's all these type of things that you can be doing on these platforms. But if you don't define why you go on these platforms, then it becomes very easy not to do it. So for instance, if I log into LinkedIn, my objective here is to build my brand, teach people marketing, answer marketing questions. Like I have a very clearly defined goal when I make these. I want to meet interesting people. I want to a network, especially now in COVID, when you can't really, you can't go anywhere for network events. Depending on what I'm feeling in that minute, my objectives change. So if in the mornings or these lives, my life, my I'm spending active time on social media right now because I'm making and teaching lessons here. Hopefully someone applies it, they use it. Maybe they need social media marketing, consulting. Then they can think of me, or maybe they're talking to someone, they think of me, right? There's a clear objective why I'm here. When I go to send direct messages to people, or I'm engaging with other people's content, usually there's an objective to that. I want to build a relationship with that person. I want to get to know that person a little bit more. I want to keep a relationship going. If I'm here to actually just meet interesting people, that's an objective. But each one of those, I'm going to do different things to make sure I achieve those specific outcomes, right? Now, let's take passive on the other hand, and do the same platform, LinkedIn. Maybe I have a couple minutes between my Zoom meetings. Like one Zoom meeting ended 15 minutes early and one starts in 15 minutes, right? And I go on LinkedIn. If I don't have a clear objective why I'm going on these platforms, then I'm just going to keep going. I'm just going to scroll. I'm just going to keep looking, and I might just like someone's stuff. I'm not engaging with anyone. So I'm just kind of scrolling, buying time, right? I'm just waiting for that next meeting, right? Next thing I know, it's 15 minutes. I'm late to my Zoom meeting. And what did I accomplish in those 15 minutes? Like, what's a tangible thing that we got? Maybe it was escapism. And if that's the case, then good. What's up, Chad? Maybe escapism is good, but did you go into that platform to get that? And did it do anything for you? Maybe escapism is, maybe instead of that 15 minutes spent on LinkedIn, maybe you could have went and learned something on YouTube, or call someone, or text or follow them, or send an email, right? You went into LinkedIn with that example without having a clear intent in mind. You just kind of went and scrolled through, and it's very hard when you don't know that to be able to catch that, right? Like sometimes I by default I'm walking from point A to B, and I'll just switch on my phone, and I'll go to Instagram or I'll go to TikTok without really thinking about it, because it's really easy. My brain is not occupied for a second with something fast that your brain can think about to occupy yourself. Boom, go on these platforms, and then since I don't have an objective with these platforms, then I'm not really doing anything. So that's the real difference between active versus passive social media consumption and engagement, right? So, what can you do to move from a passive to an active state? Well, like I said, define an objective. So let's do TikTok, for example, because I think it's super interesting. Because again, I'm not making any money from posting on this platform. I'm not, I'm spending a lot more time compared to Instagram on this platform. Why? Because I'm learning how to create content for a different niche, which is great, because if I ever have to launch a brand or help a brand in the Gen X, Gen Z world, I now have context. I've built a mental muscle to do that. And frankly, one of the brands that we're doing, that's the audience I'm targeting, right? So this is ROI positive, because even though I'm not spending, and let me back up. I spend less than 10 hours, probably 10, yeah, probably like 10. I can probably pull up my time on my phone and my computer, how much time I spend on social media, but it's not a lot. Like, even though I'm posting 5 times a day, I'm actively posting. I'm working on that. I'm posting. I'm engaging. I'm getting my checklist done, and then I'm out. Like, I don't spend that much time on social media. I probably spend between 30 minutes and an hour a day on social media. Like, all over right now. Okay, that's probably with LinkedIn and TikTok, probably like 45 minutes to an hour and a half. Um, just learning, engaging, doing things. But I'm constantly putting each one of those minutes to work. I think that's where the difference is. I'm putting that time to work. I clearly, like I said, I have an objective, and I have things I want to map back to that. So now that I'm getting off my soapbox, what can you start doing to more consciously work to get active social media? Frankly, here's the thing: you have to define a goal. So let's say it's networking, right? If your objective is to network, what do you want to do, right? What do you actually? Before I jump in, let me answer Chad's question. I question asked, how can I use all of the platforms to distribute all my content, especially if I'm not active on it? Really does. Um, Good question. So, Chad, like I said, let's just take the active versus passive model that we just talked about, right? When regardless of what platform you're posting on, you probably have a niche and objective that you're trying to do. I market, like, for Boundless Media, for instance, we do small businesses, entrepreneurs, and freelancers. That's our market. They are here on Instagram or on LinkedIn. They're looking for people to connect with and engaging with content around that, right? For TikTok, that might not be the perfect audience for that. So should you distribute 100% of your time there? Probably not. Like, I know your audience, and they're probably here on LinkedIn and LinkedIn, and yeah, probably LinkedIn and Instagram more so than TikTok. But the reason I'm spending about 10 to 15% of my time there is because I'm learning how to change my communication style to appeal to people that will be my buyers one day. So again, this is long-term thinking. I'm long-term wanting to make sure that I stay relevant to my audience, right? There's already a couple of videos I've seen that I've created there that have made really big splashes here on LinkedIn, where I didn't get a lot of likes and engagement on TikTok, but on LinkedIn I did. So it was the art and the creative working together around something. So for you is figure out how much time you actually spend. 15, let's say you spend 10 hours a week on social media. Maybe dedicate an hour, right? Like, an hour goes by like that. That's why I want people to realize, like, an hour goes by really, really quickly. And that would have been 1/10 of your time, your allocation in there. So should you be spending, 79/21? I mean, rough numbers, right? Like, here's the thing: you got to figure out what the objective is. Like, why do you want to be on this platform? Is it to learn? Is it to engage? Is it to build a community? Like, what is it that you want to do it? And then, how important is it to you right now? And how important will it be to you in the future? For instance, I don't know how important TikTok is going to be for me. That's why I'm only spending about 10 15% of my time on that platform, while the rest is here on LinkedIn. Right? I don't nearly put as much emphasis on that platform than I do here. I create 5 pieces of content for LinkedIn. I do 3 for TikTok, right? Like, that those numbers are different, but it takes me a little longer to do it here, less here. Like, it's all a net game. Like, what's the objective? Like, why do you want to be on that platform, right? Like, for me, like I said, I want to learn how to enhance my content creation to a specific audience I want to market to one day. So it's advantageous for me to be on that platform. So for you is, why not try, right? Take it. I think what will surprise people so much is how much time you're actually on these platforms, right? Like, the thing that it boils down to at the end of the day is most people don't actually know how much time they're spending, because they're spending so much time passively on these platforms, right? So you can be spending 20, 30 hours on the platform, but 28 of that is passive. So you're actually only putting 2 hours to work. So it feels like you're on these platforms a lot. It feels like you're making these investments, but you're not, right? Like, just because I go to the gym and go sit there and read my book doesn't mean I'm working out. Like, I have to go to the gym and actually break a sweat and do things, right? So what it boils down for you is, what's the objective? How do you map back to that objective? And what can you get started today to hit that objective? Like I said, I'm still spending 85% of my time here on LinkedIn. The rest is over there. I'm scattering everything. I'm scattering more of my time other places by hiring some people. So it's really, really up to you, right? Like, so let me just read the question, make sure that, and that's the thing, you don't need to be on every single platform. Like, the truth is, you might not have the capacity, want, or need to be on every platform. Like, do you have the capacity to put out one thoughtful hour, or 30-minute piece on YouTube? Maybe, but you might not, because you might not be there. I always boil down to Gary Vee, right? He has a full-time team, and I still don't see him every place, right? Okay, I want to build an audience engagement here on LinkedIn. I have a bit of traction, 8 tips to increase it. Engage with more people, right? Like, the fact that I can put out a piece and kind of guarantee that I'm going to get at least 3 to 10 likes is the fact that I've spent a lot of time with those 3 to 10 people, right? I try to connect with one real person every single day. And then I just keep up those relationships. Like, it's the reason that sometimes I don't even read my friends' posts. Sometimes I just like it because I like them. Like, during Paris, I feel bad, but like, I was actively on social media yesterday, going for a walk, and I had like a minute left before I was in my house. I saw Jordan's post, and I know what he was posting was interesting, so I liked it, so I can go back to it later. And that's what I'm going to do after this live, is going to go through all that. But I saw his post, I liked it, I engaged with it, and now I'm going to go back and follow up and read it. But I didn't actually consume it, if that makes sense. So if you have a bit of traction, spend more time, right? Like, there was a year, because I started in October of 2018. It was a year and some change, where I would call a person every single day that was in my community. I just pick someone, say, hey, 10-minute phone call. Perfect, go. And I'm still, in the sense, doing that because I'm bringing on guests I haven't talked to in a while, or I go at other people's shows. Like, I'm still engaging with people. So the big thing, if you're trying to gain some traction, like, give to the community. Like, you might be expecting people to engage with you, but you haven't really earned their trust yet. You haven't really earned their likes, their engagement yet. So for you, if you're getting a little bit of traction, double down on it, right? Connect with one new person a day, have a 5-minute conversation with them, send a couple of direct messages, and call it a day, right? Like, that's what I'm doing in my comments, right? I respond to mostly everyone's, unless you're trying to hard pitch sell me something. I don't really respond at that point. But if you have a question or anything, I take the time to answer it. That's why I go through all my comments. Like, you've seen it. It might take me a week to get through all my comments, but I do, because I think it's important. So, but again, that's active work, right? It all boils down to, I'm actively working at getting engagement. Like, my girlfriend might be mad at me for putting on blast, but she's starting to post on TikTok and she's not getting the engagement that she wants. And all boils down to she's not engaging with anyone else. Like, guys, so I'll do this for context because I think it's so important for people to see.
Who are you?
Let's see. Switch over here. So let's look at this. So every single person that engages with me or follows me on TikTok, I send a message to, right? So like I'm actively sending messages to each person. I do the same thing for LinkedIn. I do the same thing for every platform. Like I'm going in there and putting in the work. That's what it really boils down to. It's like, are you willing to take the time to put in the work? Or I do that to my direct messages too. One thing that people don't do, which I'm still surprised at, is I send messages to each person that connects with me. You send me a connection request and I think, you're not trying to hard pitch sell me something, then I'm just going to accept it. I'm going to send you a message. I've done it. I have 7,000 connections. I've sent probably 6,000. I might have missed a few here and there, 6,500, whatever. But I've sent connection messages to each person. I've followed up. I have a little reminder. I use a reminder on my iPhone to send messages to people. Like, it's just work. Like, there's no surprise what I'm doing. There's nothing novel. There's nothing new. The fact is, I see a problem and then I engage with it, right? So I have engaged with 40, whatever, they comment on a post. I'm giving more than just patience thing at that point, Chad. It really might just be the fact that it's just early on, right? It takes time. Like, I didn't really see much engagement until about a year into my journey, like October, November, December of 2019. It just takes time. Like, that's the thing. It's, as the guy who's the least patient in the world, like I think it really does boil down to, it's just a time game. Like, at the end of the day, you don't know. I'll back it up. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on TikTok. I'm on all these platforms because I don't need anything right now. Like, I don't need you to buy my social media marketing. I don't need you to buy my consultancy. I don't need you to buy anything. I don't need you. Like, I mentioned my book that I published last year maybe 7 times in the last year. I have. Yes, you can say like having those two there might be something, but like, I'm in there for the long game, right? I'm in there for the next 30, 40, 50 years, i.e. my content is never salesy. Like, I never I never say buy my stuff, because if you do, or if you don't, that's okay. Like, I'm still getting leads in. It's not like it's killing me that people are not buying right now. And here's the thing: it's even if people don't, like, I'm in this for myself, right? So yes, I'm an agency right now, but we're also launching brands, right? Like, maybe they're perfect for that brand. So time and patience is affecting my particular journey. Yeah, it's everyone's journey, man. Like, I'll keep going back to the gym example. Like, you don't go to the gym for a week and expect you're gonna have this fine physique. Like, it takes years and years and years, right? Like, no one gets their PhD just because they wanted it and they show up for the first day of class. There's 4 years of that, and then you go do residency and all that other stuff, right? It's the nice thing, Chad, is this is nothing new. Like, there's nothing new about this. Like, it's proven, right? Like, the most successful names in fashion and sports, it takes years to get to a certain point. And yes, there are anomalies. There are people who pop, right? There's some of my friends who have significantly popped out of nowhere, and I'm glad for them. I'm super happy, but they're anomalies. They're the exception to the rule. There's Man, I'll be. Let me show you something. There are people who have posted on LinkedIn or TikTok maybe like 3 or 4 times, and they have more likes and comments and engagement than I do. Right? I've been posting 3 times a day for over a month and a half now. So this is when did I get serious about this? This was 3/26. So it's been a month. And so this is content just for a month, starting right here, right? So it's showing up every single day, man. It's putting in time and effort. It's actually doing the work. That's actually a lot. That's actually a lot. How much is it? 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 30, 33, 36, 39, 39, 39, 42, 45, 48, 51, 54, 57, 60, 63, 66, 69, 72, 75, 75, 75, 78, 81, 84, 87, 90, 90, 93, 96, 99, 99, 102, 105. I've made 105. That's going to be a great post. So I can remember this. I have made 105 TikToks in a month. And I have 87 followers. So there you go. What's up, Thomas? So I mean, let's just take this for instance, right? I've made 105 TikToks in the last, let's say it's just over a month, but let's say it's like a month and a week, right? 105 TikToks. I have 87 followers, right? It's been a slow progression. I should actually like analyze my data because this is one of the scariest parts. This is one of the scariest parts because I didn't want to get started because I knew. I'm so glad Chad brought this up. I knew that it would take work to get to a certain point. I've gained 25 or 26 of those followers within the last couple of days. Like it's not like it's just like I've continuously had 87. I had 4, and then at 6, and then at 10, and then went back to 9 and 7. Like, it's one of those. I mean, look at Thomas right now. Thomas, that where's that at? What flat? And then like it's hard because I'm reaping the rewards right now on LinkedIn where I still get I got 115. I remember 115 because I had to go send 115 messages on LinkedIn within 2 weeks, right? But that's because I invested so much time on LinkedIn. Now I'm starting to get those fruits of that. Oh, that's cool. Oh, it's cool. What's your at? Thomas, give me a follow. Let's do a collab. Let's do something fun. I love doing collabs. Oh no, why is it not working? All right, buddy. I will. You want to add me right now? Make sure you add that back. Oh, we're getting a good little rhythm, guys. Let's see. You have enormous content delivery. Oh yeah. Well, that's the thing, Clifford. It's like 105 posts within a month, and that's without like my LinkedIn. So this is actually a good thing to talk about because I post. So I posted 105 times in the last. This is a fun little experiment, or not experiment, but so I posted 105 times, and then I do 5 posts a day, 5, 10, 150. I posted around 250 times last month. That's a lot of work. That's actively working at it. Like I don't make those for shits and giggles, right? It's there's a clear intent, but it doesn't feel like it. Like I'm frankly shocked that I made so much, because not too long ago I would have been flabbergasted making more than one piece of content. Now making 250, like that's great, but it doesn't just happen. Like it's progression. It's funny that we're talking about this right now, with Chad's questions, is because it's so intentional. Like you have to be so intentional with this stuff. So I have a team on LinkedIn working with me here, but they aren't on any other platforms. I'm under my company social media by themselves. Yeah, I do everything. So besides being the COO, I'm a CMO, for Boundless. I'm a CMO for another company that I'm invested in. I do everything, right? Because at this point, I still can, right? Like, so besides having clients for Boundless, besides having clients in general for consulting, like, I'm doing this 100%. So yes, I rely on some people to actually do some of the creation for me, but net, I do mostly everything because I can and I have to, because we don't have enough capital coming in to support hiring someone full time for most of it, right? Thomas, I'm excited to do something. Let me just get your IG up before I forget. So yeah, that was actually really fun. That's gonna be when I'm done with this post. I'm actually going to share this because I think it's so important for people to know that at the end of the day, like it's purely just the work at it. And you know, it sucks because I'm saying the same thing over and over, but I mean, the truth is, it just takes so much time. Okay, Thomas has a little bit of stuff, but thank you so much. Before I forget, Clifford, hopefully you guys are surviving up in New York. Goodness, it got bad last week. Close your app for 5 hours, then the algorithm gives you a bang for your buck. Really works on TG. Oh, interesting. Oh, Thomas. Okay, that's interesting. So what you're saying is close the app for 5 hours. Okay, interesting. No, Chad, I haven't released it yet. We're actually it's kind of hinted at it. It's not in stealth mode. It's out there, but the problem with launching any single brand is, especially in their first iterations of it, right? So, just because, why not? Why not? I'm in that type of mood. I'm in the why not. Just because you guys are all here. Let's see. Let's see, guys. Let's see. I will show you what I'm working on. Dun, 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 dun. So right now I'm making this video. That's an introduction for the brand. So I'll just kind of like zoom through it, so you guys can kind of see. I'll do little hints at it. Oh goodness, you know, load. Why? Okay. So let's see who's here on LinkedIn right now. Okay, who's small audience. So I'll do a little hint at what we're doing here. So I'm making this on Headliner. So I'll show you the beginning of it. So this will be the first official time on LinkedIn I'm dropping this. So I'm gonna play this, and then I'll kind of talk to you what I'm anticipating for this. So I spent so much time on this, guys. No. There's a couple of things I still want to change in that, but that's going to be the only real hint I give you on what I am doing on the alternate brand side. Here's the fun thing: is once, and this is actually fun to announce. I wouldn't say I'm announcing it on LinkedIn, but the truth is, I love working with clients, but sometimes especially with times like these, you have these little inklings of a brand, of a company, and then especially with so many people trying to make good in the world, certain opportunities just fall into your lap, and you kind of have to take that. And especially, so building a brand is so much more than a logo, and I hate when some people just fixate on the fact that brand is a logo or brand is a tagline or a website or anything like that, because it's not. It's so much more. So an opportunity came with a fantastic team, fantastic CEO, and they needed help with the marketing side of it. So I still see the one thing. One thing I don't actually like about StreamYard where we're streaming to is that there's such a delay. So I'm watching myself on the other screen, still watching the video. So a couple minutes delayed. But Chad, there you go. So the hopefully with that video you saw the idea of the brand. So even though there wasn't a logo in there because I haven't added it yet, because I'm still editing that. It's gonna be interesting. I really hope it's a feel good brand. It has a safety component to it that I'm really trying to emphasize. But goodness, yeah, it's building a whole new brand is one of the best things in the world. And frankly, it's so fun. It's all work. Don't get me wrong. I spent like 4 hours on that video, and it's 30 seconds long. But regardless, I digress. Don't you keep down. We'll have to talk about this little hack. I'm excited to try it. But anyway, we are going to we're going to end it here because I have a 9 a.m. meeting. But hopefully, thanks everyone for jumping in on this specific LinkedIn Live. I think this was a fun one. But yeah, if you have any questions about passive, active, I know we went thousands of different routes, so I appreciate that. But it did inspire me to actually make a little bit more content around a sheer amount of work that goes into it, time investment, all that fun stuff. And I thank Chad and the rest of the team. Thomas, I'll make sure to follow you back. Clifford, thanks for being here. Everyone on the likes and will watch this later. I appreciate you. Have a fantastic Monday. And we're going to end it here. So have a fantastic day, and we'll see you guys later.